It was 10 lessons that someone over 50 learned about corporate America, and they wish they would have known this.
Mm.
So I'm just gonna read it, and we gonna react to it. Number one, turn in work when it's due, never early.
Oh, this is a comment. I'm just clarifying. This
Yeah,
is a
this is
comment.
a comment from someone
Okay,
that worked in corporate America over 30 years.
I
By
got
all means, they were successful or what have you,
you.
six-figure earners. This is what they said.
Got you. Mm.
Turn in work when it's due, never early.
Mm. Okay. You want to list all 10 or react to each one?
We're gonna go one by one.
Okay. So this one reminds me of a TikTok I saw. And it was about law. And I don't know much about law, but everyone in the comments was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so accurate." When I was a lawyer, but it talked about how it's just funny when someone, I guess, when you're a new lawyer, and other people come up to you and like, "Hey, are you busy?" You need to find a way to say yes, like courteously, because if you say no, I'm gonna make you busy because it's plenty of work to go around. Not, you know what I'm saying? And so I guess it's that same mentality of it's not even about not being a team player. It's just about if you spend your day putting out other people's fires, you don't put out your fires, and your company expects you to put out your fires too. You get what I'm saying? Or find a
Yeah.
fire a self-initiated fire.
That's interesting that you said that. Okay, that's an interesting perspective. What made me when I read that, what made me think about it is someone said something to me one time, and they said, and this is when they were going to the office. They were like, "Man, I could do this. I can literally do this in like 2 days, but I just stretch it out over a week and a half, because that's typically how long it take everybody else. And so if I turn it in early, they're gonna keep giving me more and more stuff to do." And just
Mm.
I remember hearing somebody say that before. And so I'm torn. I'm torn because do you just want to be sitting around like knowing you got something done and you like, yeah, I ain't, I ain't, I'm gonna coast versus if you can take on more, do more. But I think I understand what they're saying is like it's just a balance. But I don't know. I'm torn on that one. I'm torn. I think if you can do more, you should. I didn't say overextend yourself, but I think you should probably go ahead and just knock it out. Two, never mention nor show any additional talents.
Oh, I don't know about. Well, that's interesting. I
Yeah.
don't. That's interesting. I don't. I I mean, I'm gonna disagree because I mean I get the perspective of like this sounds like I don't want. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's fear based, but it's like, oh, I'm scared they're gonna make me go above and beyond my job description. I feel like most jobs do that anyway. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that just comes with the territory. Yes, we're
Yeah.
gonna expect you to pitch in a little more, but you gonna cry about it, bro? We're paying. Like
Right.
this isn't volunteer work, and so
Right.
my thing is, I'm thinking about it from a perspective of not even so literal on the nose about talents for the job's sake. I'm thinking about it almost sounds like you're suppressing your personality. You're just trying to be a chameleon at work versus I think about some people that I know who have been on a leadership track. Yes, they are good at their job, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in a position to evaluate that. But what I could evaluate was they showed up and they made a positive impact to the leadership. Leadership liked them, not just buddy buddy, but like the leadership recognized, hey, the office is a little happier when that person is here. They have a good effect. That's their talent is bringing up other people, even just their coworkers. You get what I'm saying? And so I wouldn't suppress things like that.
Yeah. I didn't agree with that one at all. I was like, yeah, no, I don't agree with that. Because I think you're gonna suffer while you're trying to do the bit. You're gonna suffer as a result of that. But I think the way you broke it down, I think I agree 100% with how you framed it. Number three, never volunteer to do extra work. In hostile environments, it will become your responsibility or expected.
I mean, like I said, if this is the guide to become a chameleon at work, I agree 100%. But if this is like, I mean, again, I'm young, I'm junior, but it seems like I would say do it strategically. You don't got to sign up for every, because, you know, you got to, like I said, again, The 9 to 5, okay, yes, put in some extra time here and there, but I find that having something to do outside of that helps you feel more energized at your 9 to 5 because you know that, okay, I got something I'm gonna be able to shift my mind to. But I think that this is just funny. Like, bro, like, okay, be a chameleon if you want to, but bro, if you really want to advance, because it just makes me wonder, what have they done for 30 years? You know what I'm saying? Did they hire for 30 years? Let's see what was the next. Let me before I say too much. I want to hear what's next. I gotta hear one more before I
Hold on. So, in my opinion, I would say there's nothing wrong with volunteering. Just be strategic with what you volunteer on. Like, does this lead to the pat? Like, there's a couple, one or two things. Does this lead to promotion opportunities? Does this lead to, and if not a promotion, how rewards or bonus? Like, is that connected to that in some way? And then there's just some projects that you may volunteer, you're just passionate about it. It's just
right,
something that gives you energy.
right.
And,
You know, mhm.
and so that's where my mind was going. But just to say, don't volunteer, being threw in a hostile environment, it's like,
I don't know what you're talking,
what?
but I want to flip it. So outside of work, I mean, this applies to work too, but it just makes me think of maybe we have people that's in school. Like this what when you said like that makes me think of either high school or college. You trying to sign up for every organization,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
curricular, because you're like, oh, the employer's gonna like this. But like it's the same energy of just sign up for what makes sense for you. Think about where you can really, I mean, yes, have that selfish tilt of, okay, what can I really benefit from? Yes, do that, but also balance it by saying, okay, but also what organizations can I really help somebody? Like
Yeah.
if you're an underclassman, eventually I'll be a senior, I'll be a junior. So what organization would I have fun guiding the younger people? And so take that energy outside of school, outside of work. You can do that in real life too, and go find, or like you found a men's group, you could, if you would have had that same energy to outside of work, you wouldn't have found your men's group, and you would be missing out on gyms.
Facts. Facts. Yeah. Number four, read the work environment before offering any new ideas or suggestions.
Okay, I'm not mad at that one.
This is okay to do if you're in a healthy work environment. Otherwise, it will become your job for zero pay. That's the energy that they're coming from. I just want you to know. I had to.
I mean, he's very consistent. I'll give him that. But I will say, I just think it's a good general and practice. It's just a good practice in general to think before you speak. Because this again, this is there are people that get paid to manage us as human resources. This isn't me with my homeboys, 11 p.m. hanging out. No, this is a professional office environment. And so, yes, think twice before you say whatever you're going to say. And even beyond like getting in trouble, HR, no, just you want to be for me, communication is such a powerful tool. And so I mean, we can get into all the biblical stuff, power of the tongue, but man, like you really can shift things with what you say. And so, yes, I think twice. Be strategic with things that you communicate to your management, your coworkers, all that.
Yeah. In terms of new ideas for no pay and all that, you getting paid.
Yeah.
Just if you see something that can get better, that's called adding value in my head. That's just adding value. If you see something that can improve, why wouldn't you say something? Now, I will say that doesn't mean that your idea has to be implemented because maybe there's some context that you don't quite understand. And that's why the company's going another direction. And so you have to be okay with if you do share new ideas, is not implemented.
Right.
And also don't just be sharing ideas without the thought of this is also how you can implement that. Because a lot of times people have a whole bunch of ideas, and then it's
Mm,
like, okay, but somebody got to implement this. So have you thought about that part? Do you
right.
have some ideas around what the implementation of that will look like? And sometimes, to be honest with you, sometimes when you just bring new ideas to the table, whether they're implemented or not, it's showing that you care.
Right. That's true. And it makes me think about, so how I was saying earlier, is there's people that's really good at coming up with the business ideas.
Yeah.
You need them at the start because without the idea at the start, you ain't got nothing. There's people that's really good at laying the groundwork, getting the business up and running. And then there's people that, okay, now that the business is up and running, worth billions, we need y'all to sustain and keep growing. That's a different phase than the other three. And so like this person, it almost sounds like they're saying they're trying to be an idea person, but we this is a firm idea. This company thousands, in the case of Meta, 80,000 people that already contributed ideas. We, like you said, sometimes the better way you can bring value is to the implementation side of things. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, they were saying that will become zero pay. Basically, they want ideas equal more pay, or
Like enough people are getting paid for the ideas. That's a good, yeah. Like you, yeah, I get what you're saying.
so 5, never feel scared to ask upfront about compensation for extra duties.
I don't want to
Okay,
be.
let's make it real. Let's make it real. Let's make it real. Okay. Your manager come to you right now with something that's not a part of your job title description, which is a very terrible mindset to have. But
Right.
and you like, and you're filtering it through, I ain't getting paid extra for that. And so you're transactional, you're being transactional from a monetary standpoint. When if you read your job description, it says and other job roles and duties as needed. I don't know if you ever read like go look at job descriptions, you're gonna see that on there. And
Yeah.
so when a person says that's not in my job title, but it
This,
is.
this job description is not exhaustive of all the. Yeah, I'm telling you. I just saw that the other day. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But like, it, my first thought was, I don't even want to be this person's friend because this is not just the energy you keep at work. You don't just turn this off as soon as you clock out. You got to be like this. Period. And another, like you at the restaurant, this person like, I didn't get the fries. Ready $2. Don't trip on me on fries. But at the same time, it makes me curious on is this has this person been a full-time employee for 30 years, or is almost they talking like a contractor mindset, like a forever nomad, you know what I'm saying? Like that's never a permanent home, constantly doing contracts. Not that that's a bad thing, but this is almost like their kind of language of like, because they're very like you know it's different. Like
Yeah.
I know
You
that
build hourly. Like it's built
exactly.
hourly. Yeah.
And you know, there's no like, oh, boss man, can I take tomorrow off and still get paid? No.
Oh. Yeah.
So I can understand it in that scenario of like, well, this is going
Yeah.
to cost me an extra 2 or 3 hours, and I get billed hourly. So in
Yeah.
that case, I kind of get the mindset, but he framed it as if he's a full time employee and climbing the corporate ladder. I don't see how that attitude can mix with that.
It doesn't. Okay. So moving on. Never feel scared to have new duties put on record as your job description.
I mean, duh. I won't say duh, but like, ah,
But I don't think that matters
yeah,
because it's just keep your own brag book and
mm-hmm.
you keep documentation of that.
True.
That way, as you're networking and telling your story and engaging with other people outside of your company, you at least you're able to tell your story. And then also internally, you can tell your story as well. Like if you're leading up to a promo or something, or just have a good bonus, or you're preparing for an end of the year type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't even be thinking in terms of job description. I would be thinking in terms of impact.
Where do you even find your job description after you start? That's what I'm thinking. Like, and then when you go to the next company, it's not like I've been, hey, X company, can you send them my job description, tell them what I did? I mean, yes, references, but like what you said, I think it's supposed to be self-led. Like, I'm not expecting my company to fill out my resume too as they hand me my walking papers. I'm responsible for marketing myself.
Yeah, I don't. The job description doesn't matter. I don't. You should be thinking about the impact. It you, each opportunity you go to, each company you provide value and services to, you should be thinking about what's the value that I provided while I was there, and that's not 10 bullet points. Like if you had to sum it up in 1 to 2 sentences or three tops. What was that? I generated X amount of dollars for the company while I was there, which as a result, it was this. I I did XYZ. As a result, the company I cut costs by 15%. As a result, the company saved $10 million. I did this as a result, my time there, da 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 da. Like it's like something tangible, not I assisted with a call. This I booked 10 appointments. So what?
Right.
I closed 50 deals, which led to $50 million. That land different. And so my point is, I'm just coming off the cuff. I'm just riffing. But what was the impact? Like with you being there, like before you came, then you came. What did you do? And did it even matter that you were there?
Mm,
And for your sake, you need to be able to know like what you did because you're gonna need to pull that into your next opportunity when you're engaging with someone else. Like, okay, so at your current company or your previous company, what did you do? Like, they're not looking for a job description. They're looking for like the impact. Like Keon closed over $10 million of business for the company. They like, oh, so that means he can close at least 10 million for us if we put him in the right position. And that lands different.
right. Even and some of the way I see it too is not even because I think for sales it's more measurable and like quantifiable. But I'm seeing like other roles too. It's like the way to quantify it is just on years. Like it's almost like I'm seeing some hiring managers. It's like if they don't have at least 3 years, I don't care if they had the most phenomenal 2.5 years. They could have invented NASA in 2.5 years, but until they get that extra zero point 0.5, I'm not gonna consider you. And so like it's just I don't know. People gonna have to tune into Patreon. We can do a whole thing on just job seeking. We can do a whole series. But man, it's so much to it, man.
Yeah, it is. Number 7, try to get most correspondences in writing and time stamped.
It sounds like I'm covering my butt.
That's
Like,
exactly what it is. I will say that sometimes that we we have communications with people, and sometimes people get amnesia. And
okay.
so, did it really happen? So, did that conversation really happen? Even though you know it happened, but if somebody come around and it comes up again, it's like Keon and Keon never talked to me about that, and you like, oh, you played me, like you played me. So, I don't think you need to be goofy about it, but with the critical conversations as it relates to projects, as it relates to like major key things, you just need to send it in an email. It don't
Mm,
need, and you don't need, it don't even need to be from a fear-based perspective. It can just be people just get busy and they forget. Like, and they don't even have to be nothing no more than that. Now you do have some people that will finesse things, but let's just go in a direction of like people have their own initiative, their own things that they're working on, and then you're meeting with them and you're telling them something that you need to get done. Okay, get in line. That's number 10 on my list of to-dos. Like, or at least make sure you document it that way you can keep following up. And so if something comes up where you wasn't able to, move things along, you could see like, okay, well, I've been following up with this person and I need this particular person to get this thing done.
right.
They're just not being responsive. And I've tried in good faith 10 times or 4 times to try to. So that's where I would say CYA, but you don't have to be like
Mhm.
where you being so obvious, like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna make sure I get this in writing. So like,
Right.
come on, let's just give people
Yeah.
grace. Let's just like people are busy. Let's lean in that direction. And so I'm just gonna make it easy for you, and I'm gonna put this recap meeting in an email for you to reference when you get a chance. So you don't even have to like put any emotion on it or like any of that. don't be too informal. Sometimes you don't need to be too informal because sometimes people are just busy and they just forget.
And to me, I think the conversation for me is also about just more broadly just documentation. I
Yeah,
think that you don't have to do fear-based documentation. I think
right.
that for probably the majority of careers, maybe some out there that you don't need to document, but for most of them, I think that you wouldn't suffer from being better at documenting. It's a
Yeah.
sales organization is next to godliness in sales. Like if you can't keep track of the things that you're doing, like, and I mean, of course, sales is the first thing I think of because that's my industry. But I mean, I also think of when you think of sales documenting, it's good to just keep a paper trail of your efforts, not just to be like, hey, look what I did, but also for coaching purposes, just for personal review. But that's just for revenue. I'm thinking of life and death situations like in the medical field. And I think I saw a
Mm,
story the other day where a nurse got arrested because they falsified documents. And it could be something as simple as saying, yeah, I checked on that patient. And then another nurse that really was aware of the situation looks at the charts and says, that patient been dead 30 minutes before you said you checked on him. And
mm,
now you're going to jail. Or something as simple as it ain't got to be about life and death. It could be something about drugs. You documented that the drugs were in the cabinet. They went check and they're gone. You was the last person on documentation, but because you was sloppy and wasn't keeping track, and it's just yes, CYA, but also I just think that being proactive at being a good documenter, it just prevents problems.
yeah. I like that. I like that perspective. I like that perspective. Number 8, keep your personal business to yourself. Shut your mouth.
Okay, yeah,
Shut your mouth. Don't
I,
nobody want to know about your financial freedom dreams and goals. They
I,
might be pissed at you because they so far from it, they're gonna make your life a living hell. Or are you really committed to the job? We
that's
we're
funny.
concerned that you don't have your full attention at work, and
mm,
we maybe your other endeavors may be getting in the way.
mm.
You know, shut your mouth. Don't you say nothing about all these side hustles you got going on. You better shut your mouth. And it might not, and it might truly be what you're doing in your 5 to 9, 5 to 10. Ain't nobody business what you doing.
Yep. And it's like, okay, yes, it is the perspective of, yeah, keep it from them. They might fire, they might, but also,
It's none of your business.
and also that too, and also just the perspective. Think about it like this: why would I, as the founder or CEO, want to be paying all of y'all to talk about y'all own business? Do that off the clock, do that at lunchtime, but we are here for one goal. Like, not of course, not saying you can't have side conversations, but that's almost like espionage. I'm being dramatic, but it's like, bro, you need to focus on doing your job the best of your ability. Why are you telling us about what you're doing outside the job? You know what I'm saying? And it's it's a lot that can be said there, especially about me. My wife, she calls it evil eye. Whenever you other people put that evil eye on you, it's a lot of things that's there. But I'll say, I personally, I tend to just be more on the cautious side of sharing stuff at work. I just prefer not to share. I've learned that sometimes when you share things, you can't unshare it. You can't unring certain bells. And so it's best to just shut up. Like the guy said, like this is one point of his, I'm like, okay, I endorse it. Because just read the room. And even still, don't just read the room. Okay, I'm gonna act like they act. Read the room and still act the way you gonna act. Be you. Don't compromise yourself, but just act accordingly. And just like I said, know that you can't unring certain bells.
That's a fact. Don't tell people your personal business. Be careful on that. Sure, you may come across some people that's your friend, that y'all actually become friends. But most people, they're gonna be in the associate bucket and coworker bucket, and that's why you're there. Leading to, I'm gonna switch it around. Number 10, any company that says we are family, be on guard. Any company that is actually, I'll leave it there. We ain't no family. We ain't family. We're not family. I'm here to do a job. I'm gonna bring good energy. We gonna have a good time. I mean, we gonna, have great working relationships. but we're not blood. We're not a family.
Mm, wow. I think it sounds simple, but like I think it's really important to like delve into that because more oftentimes than not, people spend more time with their coworkers, especially if you're not remote or hybrid. If you're going
We're
in
not
5 days,
family.
like but you see them more than your family. You like,
Bro,
man,
we're not family. Don't lose that. I keep saying it because you can lose yourself
exactly.
because of how much time you spend together. Now, don't get it misconstrued with you build bonds with people, but let me tell you something. You're gonna leave that job and you're gonna be an afterthought.
Mm,
There'll be some people that might check on you here and there, but for the most part, out of sight, out of mind because work still had to go on.
yeah,
Um,
it's
we
not
ain't
personal.
family.
Yeah, it's just business, nothing personal. That's all.
It's business, nothing personal, and you don't have to have this negative disposition or like, hey, I'm here to do a job and I ain't dealing with y'all. That's not the disposition to have. You can be you, but being mindful of a family doesn't, hey, you're laid off, you're done, you're out of here. Like, or the lack of transparency of all this corporate spin. You don't do that to family. And again, it's not personal. That's just how business is. That's why we aren't family.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like what family pays you to be in it? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
if it was volunteership, okay, cool. It's more camaraderie, but we all I think that I like this point only because I was thinking about this the other day. Like I hate when people I'm not gonna speak on a certain source, but I heard someone say, we're not just doing this for the money, or we're not doing it for the money. A part of me was like, that's a lie. Yes, we are. Now, of course, don't say it like that, but like, let's just be honest. Neither one of us
Yeah.
was on this. And I'm talking about me and you. I'm talking about, but it was like it was a Zoom. It was a business Zoom, and I was like, neither one of y'all would be on that Zoom if y'all was off on vacation. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the money. But what I like about being upfront and like, let's just be honest, because now we can. It's not about just getting straight to the business, but it's like now we can all like I'm forgetting how to phrase it, but it's like we can be respectful of each other's time. You know what I'm saying? Like we can
Yeah.
all understand what the common goal is. There's no confusion on, oh, but that's my buddy. Oh, but I don't want to hurt such and such feelings. It's not about people feelings. People get paid here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And the whole point is to increase the whole company's revenue so we can all get paid more.
Yeah.
If you're not on that team, I don't care about your feelings. If that's not how you think about it.
Yeah. And you can be a person of compassion, a person that where you genuinely care about people, but we're not family.
Yeah.
And I can say that in a neutral place and like, I like that. I like that person. You know, I can see myself being friends with that person, but we're
Mm,
not family.
mm.
Last one, I switched the order around because it was the way that flowed. This one is do not get sucked in by food or keychains, mugs, t-shirts, pens, notebooks, etc. with company logos.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on that one? As you're wearing a Penn University, even though
Got
you work for Penn, but like when you hear that, where do your mind go?
Now it definitely makes me think about like my last company. I use a speaker in the bathroom when I take a shower. They gave me this big old umbrella. So it's like I appreciate that stuff. Maybe because I'm still a junior in my career, still in my first 2, 3 years. But I mean, obviously that stuff is just like the confetti on top once you get in though. It's like I wasn't like, man, like, okay, this company's gonna give me an umbrella. That company's gonna give me some marshmallows. I didn't give a what are we talking about? You know what I'm saying? Keychains. Like, bruh, my paycheck, I could have went and bought 1,000 keychains if I really wanted to, or the keychain I wanted. I wasn't worried about the extras. But I will say it shows that because you could look at it from two ways. You could look at it from, oh, this job finna be some BS. They finna work us to death. Look, they trying to be extra nice. They brought us pizza on the first day. That's how you know. That's the fear-based way to look at it. Or I like to look at it as, you know what? They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to send me whatever they sent me, the little goodie. In my current, oh man, my current job, how can I forget? They sent me some cookies with
Oh,
like
dang.
I was like, wow, they didn't have to do that. I was gonna come regardless. Like y'all already got me. But man, it just shows like it's just some personality and flair. And so I can't never be mad at people being compassionate. Like you said, that's a good example of ways to be compassionate in business. That was a business expense. They're like, okay, new hires, we want to raise morale. They didn't just do that 100% out of the kindness of their heart, but the cookie still tasted good. You know what I'm saying? So,
You ate them.
exactly.
Yeah, no, I like some good swag. I like
Yeah.
some good swag. Hey, no harm, no foul in me. I love it. Um, Probably when I leave, I'm gonna throw it all away.
Right.
Because I'm not going. I'm probably not gonna be a walking billboard for a company I don't represent anymore. But yeah.
Oh no, and they gave this North Face. I don't think I'm throwing it away until
Wait,
I
wait. It depends on like if it's
like
like
a
you said, a
denim
North Face
sweatshirt.
is some of quality. I'm gonna keep that, but all the other little trinkets, that's
Yeah,
probably going in the trash.
you didn't keep the quarter zips and all that. Nah.
It depends. Like if it's good quality, it still might be gym. It might still be. I probably could still work out with that, or like if I'm going to the park or something. But if it's otherwise,
Right,
I'm throwing it in the trash.
for sure.
Yeah, but I'm not throwing it in the trash feeling some type of way. It's just like, all right, moving on.
Yeah,
More that's it. So I'm no negative energy around it. Even if it happens to be a layoff or something, I'm like, all right, well, throwing it away.